Yeah, they're recording.
Go, Jackson, go.
Put that one there. You want to record? One of you want to record? He expects me to.
I'm only gonna be here for
Thank you,
what I
Avery.
have to do. I'll do it next time.
You just have to point to their
Claire's
face.
sitting right here.
What?
Can't Claire do it?
Yeah, Claire will do it. You just have to do it for a few.
Claire, what's up?
How do we present this?
I just want to drink my coffee. Don't start yet. I haven't started yet.
Wait,
What is that?
where's the other camera?
Over there. On the base. It's on the base.
Is it started? No. Let's start them now.
We have to start them at the same time.
Now.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Mr. D. Mr. D.
Okay, we've got a few things to just discuss right before presentation starts. The Dana Brain competition is up. That is a hypothetical competition, so it's where you design a neuroscience experiment, but you don't actually need to do it. So you don't need to be an IRT or a Walksman to get your hands on some materials. Also, Walksman still needs about 3 more people. If you want to get your hands dirty, if you want to do some molecular biology, go talk to Mr. Weinkoff. Next week, all cancer classes, anybody that has completed the cancer class, we're going to have a kind of feedback session, so keep an eye out for that. That'll be on Facebook. There's 3 applications that are coming out that you might want to be looking at. Princeton has a summer program for research. Columbia has a summer program for research, and of course, the FBI has a very cool forensics program for research. It's highly competitive, but I hear it's awesome. I generally try to stay away from it, though. Oh, interesting moniker.
You wrote that?
I did not. Okay, there are things that you put in the presentation and things that stay in the email. ITVA. Next.
Oh.
Okay, so my article was called UVB Radiation Generates Sunburn Pain and Affects Skin by Activating Epidermal TRPV4 Ion Channels and Triggering Endothelin-1 Signaling. So this is also called Stopping the Pain from Sunburn. So why should we care about this article? So how many of you here have gotten sunburn? So that's most of you. So sunburn can lead to skin cancer, and this is the most common of all cancers. About 1 in 5 people are affected by it, and more than 3.5 million people die per year of skin cancer. So if we could prevent that, that would be amazing. So just general terms to know. TRPV4, it's an ion channel that's involved in expressing pain. So when you're burnt or when anything happens to you, this is involved in expressing the pain. And then endothelin-1 also functions in the pain signaling. It causes a lot of pain. Tamoxifen inhibits TRPV4, so it inhibits the expression of pain, which is the drug that they used in this experiment. And then phosphorylated ERK is just an inflammatory that'll show inflammation. So the study was to see if TRPV4 was involved in sunburn pain and tissue damage caused by sunburn pain and UV rays. So they used a mouse sunburn model, and they either genetically deleted TRPV4, which expressed the pain, or inhibited it with tamoxifen, which is just a topical cream. And they also had control mice. So the first thing they did was determining that TRPV4 is necessary to express pain in response to heat and thermal, like other heat cues. So basically what you see here is it's telling the pain threshold of the mice. So a pain threshold, like if you have a lower pain threshold, then you are going to feel more pain. So you don't want the lower pain threshold. So here, the blue and the black are the two groups of control mice, and then the red is where they genetically deleted the TRPV4, and the green is where it was inhibited. So you can see that the controls had a much lower pain threshold after the sunburn, and then the mice without the TRPV4. So this, yes?
Sorry, can you explain the pain threshold thing again?
Basically, lower pain threshold is more pain, and higher pain threshold is less pain.
Okay.
Alright, so this next graph here shows the inflammation after sunburn. So here you see the control before sunburn. You can see that there's the bright red over there is inflammation. So you can see that there's no inflammation here. And this is also before sunburn, but this is with the inhibited TRPV4. And in this one, it's the control plus the UV rays, so that's after sunburn. And you can see that there's a lot of inflammation there. But down here, you can see that there's absolutely no inflammation when there's inhibited TRPV4. So basically this means that you don't experience pain or inflammation due to sunburn if you don't have TRPV4. Yes?
But does that still mean your skin's not getting damaged by the UV rays? Does that mean that?
That's coming next. Okay. Oh, go to endlessocular.com. And then if a person was in a lot of pain after they were sunburned, do they have TRPV4 or is TRPV4 inhibited or deleted?
A lot of it. That was one response. They have TRPV4. TRPV4 is present and active. Have TRPV4.
Okay, that's all right. So next they wanted to see what the tissue damage from sunburn came from. So they looked at skin tissue in the mice paws, and they had here's the control, and you can see that there's no tissue damage here. But after sunburn, or after UV rays, there is a lot of tissue damage, and this is when there is TRPV4. So that kind of suggests, and then here you have the control, or before sunburn, with inhibited TRPV4. And then they had two groups of mice. They knocked out all of the TRPV4, and they knocked out some of it. So when they knocked out some of it in this one, after sunburn, you can see that there's still some tissue damage there, but when they knocked out all of it, there was absolutely no tissue damage. Yeah.
Question. When they say they expose it to UV light, is that for how long? Over a long period of time, continuously, or just in short bursts, or
They didn't really specify it, but I'm pretty sure it was over maybe a month. Yeah.
Question was, is TRPV4 only for sunburn type pains, or?
No, it's for a lot of different types of pain. Before this article, they actually knew that it was involved in mechanical type pains and not heat-related pains. So in this article, they found out that it was related to heat pain. Yes.
If TRPV4 receives pain, then how does it actually cause tissue damage?
So this is the first they've done on this type of study. So they aren't exactly sure how it causes the tissue damage yet, but they can look into that in future studies. Yes.
If it's involved in mechanical pains, is that right?
Yeah.
If you take out the TRPV4, would the other pains go away too? And is it the same thing? It doesn't cause any damage? Because if you take away the TRPV, the pain from other injuries, won't you not know that you're injured because you don't feel any pain? Does that make sense?
Yeah. This article only talked about sunburn pain in specific, but I don't know how the mechanical pain worked. I think that that would probably happen, so that is like a possible side effect or like con to this. So endothelin-1, which functions in pain signaling expression, depends on TRPV4 expression. So basically they knew that ET1 was expressed in response to pain, but since TRPV4 was also expressed, they didn't know if they were somehow linked. So here, they tested the levels of endothelin-1 when there was TRPV4 and when there wasn't. And so you can see that when there was TRPV4, there was a lot more endothelin-1 than when there was no TRPV4. So basically what this is saying is that when you have TRPV4, it will lead to an expression of endothelin-1. And then this is another pain threshold graph. So you can see that the control, which is in the blacks, for each group, TRPV4, no TRPV4, has a high pain threshold, but they added endothelin-1 to these, and so this is TRPV4 and this has TRPV4, and then these two do not. And you can see that when you add endothelin-1 to the control, or to the ones with TRPV4, endothelin-1 causes pain. So that basically says that, so since it causes pain, the pain threshold is low. But in the other two, without TRPV4, when you add endothelin-1, it should go down. The pain threshold should go down and you should experience more pain. But instead, the pain threshold stays at the same level or around the same level as it did before, which suggests that endothelin-1 expression comes from TRPV4. So go to Sunburn again. Would you be able to get rid of pain and tissue damage caused by sunburn if you inhibited endothelin-1 instead of TRPV4?
One person said yes, one person said no. Maybe pain, but not damage, not completely. Yes. 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 No.
I can explain it again, or go to the next slide actually. So what they found is this pathway. So UV rays activate the expression of TRPV4, which then activates endothelin-1, which activates the pain and tissue damage, which could possibly lead to skin cancer. So basically, if you inhibited the TRPV4, you stop this whole part, you can stop that whole part of the pathway from happening. So if you stop the pathway here, it would also, do the same thing, because it would just stop the pain and tissue damage. So why is this any better than sunscreen? So I was talking to a couple people, and they said they don't really put on that much sunscreen at the beach. I know it doesn't seem that reliable because you put it on and then it wears off and then you get sunburned anyway. So tamoxifen is more of a guarantee that you won't get sunburnt, or not that you won't get sunburnt, but if you do, you won't have the pain and tissue damage, so it's effectively like you're not getting sunburnt. So this is definitely more of a guarantee that you won't feel the pain or get affected by it.
Do you still get red?
I'm actually not sure about that. I think the red is inflammation, but I'm not 100% sure. So if there's not a lot of
Could you still get tan?
Yeah.
Or somewhat tan?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you asking if everybody could or if you could?
Yes.
If you're inhibiting TRPV4 and it's also like is it the primary pain receptor in other
physical damage?
I'm not sure because that wasn't specified, but it might be. I can look that up later if you want.
Wouldn't tamoxifen also have some side effect where you wouldn't be able to feel it if you got cut, stabbed, shot, punched in the head?
Yeah, that's one of the bad side effects of this.
So let's keep in mind that Sarah's a first-time presenter. That means we can ask questions that are opening things up for discussion. But as far as real depth and attacking the article, we okay. You can ask the question. We'll deal with it later.
I'm just curious if you said that it's better than sunscreen because you don't have to would you still have to reapply?
You would have to reapply, but it wouldn't wear off while you're sitting out in the sun.
How long did the mice have it on for?
48 hours, right?
48
It
hours.
stayed for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Is it waterproof?
Well, they did use oils control, which implied that it was oils rubbed on so that would make it
Good point.
Okay. Just in conclusion, TRPV4 expression leads to endothelin 1 expression, which then causes the pain and tissue damage. So, should tamoxifen be readily available to the public? Should it be an option for you to genetically delete TRPV4 in people so that they can't feel any of the pain or get any of the tissue damage from sunburn? And could it be a possible way to avoid skin cancer? Okay, that's it. Alright, does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
What about, this doesn't prevent DNA damage from UV rays, does it?
They didn't talk about that, but I don't think so.
So is the take home here that, I was confused about this yesterday. Is the point that you should be trying to avoid, so is the point simply that the pain and damage are associated with each other and one causes the other?
Yes. They're not necessarily that one causes the other, but they're caused by the same.
Right, right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to selectively inhibit TRPV4 in certain amounts, right? So you wouldn't feel as much pain from skin cancer, but as you said, if you get cut somewhere or you start bleeding, you'd actually know instead of I'm
Okay,
bleeding.
they actually did that in the study. Can we back to the tissue damage? Okay. So here you can see the incomplete and complete knockdown. So that means the incomplete knockdown had some TRPV4 in it, and then the complete knockdown didn't have any. So there's still some tissue damage here, but not as much as up there. But there's more than there. Yes.
Sarah, did researchers extend their research to include that in chronic pain?
No, this article was focused on sunburn pain specifically.
Did the researchers talk about whether or not it's, because obviously for some people getting sunburn doesn't happen as frequently or as easily.
Yeah.
So did they talk about what would, basically what I'm trying to say is, does this happen as fast and as quickly with people with darkness?
Can you rephrase?
Because, you want to talk to Avery after this?
Sarah,
Basically, what
they
I'm trying to
only
say
did
is
it on
a lot of times
mice.
black people don't think they need sunburn because they don't need sunscreen because they don't think they're gonna get sunburned. So did they talk about whether or not darker skin would actually slow down the process of getting to skin or tissue damage and stuff like that?
No, they didn't at all. They use the same kind of mice, so they didn't really experiment with different.
I see how it is.
Yeah. Not 100% sure, but I think it blocks the UV rays from penetrating into your skin.